Okay, so we are continuing with our Śaraṇāgati study and discussion. Let's see here. We are going to go through this song. Let's see here. This is the seventh verse, I believe. It's based on the seventh verse of Upadeshamrita. Where is it the seventh verse? I believe so. Srila Rupa Goswami gives this very helpful analogy of jaundice, a disease of the liver, which causes one to taste causes one to taste sweet as bitter. And yet the very cure for this is rock candy. This is some Ayurvedic cure. Nowadays, sugar is just become like a very cheap and widely used, overused substance. But previously, and I think not just in Ayurveda, but in other cultures, it was used as a medicine, actually, like pure, good, high quality sugar. So, but to a modern ear, it sounds a little odd, right? And so it's a very wonderful analogy, right, to show how in our current stage, because of our current condition, we're not able to taste the sweetness that is in the name. Sometimes we may get some touch of it or experience some shadow of it, but not much more than that. And so this analogy is given, right, that although we may be tasting something bitter, the medicine is to keep chanting. That's the remedy. And as the disease is cured by continued chanting of the name, we'll gradually begin to experience the sweetness, the actual sweetness that is within. So this is the song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur going through that. And we can't remember whether we went through this or not last week, but you can just quickly go through the translations. Oh Lord, I've forgotten you, and my tongue has become afflicted with the jaundice of ignorance, engrossed in mundane pleasures. My tongue does not like the nectar of Krishna's name. Yet if I faithfully chant the name every day, then as sugar candy eradicates jaundice, so my taste for the name will gradually develop, O Lord. My misfortune is that I have never had faith in the name, O merciful Lord. How will the 10 offenses, my misfortune, be destroyed? Because it is these offenses which obstruct our ability to access that sweetness. These offenses, they can be compared, really the source of them is egoistic mentality, mundane ego. There's this analogy given of, there's that verse, ahankara nivritanam keshavo nahi doraga, ahankara yutanam hi madhya parvata rasaya, right? Saying that for one in whom the ahankar, the false ego, is very prominent, it is as if there's a great mountain range between themselves and the Lord. But in one in whom the ego is absent, Keshavo nahi doraga, the Lord is very close, he is not far away. So this mundane, egoistic conception that we have, which is a whole universe, right? With full of ideas of I, me, and my, and false conceptions about the nature of the environment and the true self. This is all like a great wall, a great mountain range that's obstructing us, right? To connect with the Lord, to experience the sweetness of his name, and so on. And that's really the root of offense, right? And so now these 10 offenses are outlined in Srila Sridhar Maharaj's commentary. We'll come back to that. And I'll just get to the end of the song. As I constantly chant your name, my offenses will gradually go away by your mercy. I will attain taste for your name, and I will relish your name's nectar. Commentary, this song is based on the 7th verse of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu's Sri Upadeshamrita. Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochi Kanu Kintadarad Anudinam Kalu Saiva Jushta Sadvi Pramad Bhavati Tadgada Mula Hantre. Alas, although Krishna's name, pastimes, and so forth are sweet like sugar candy, they are not relishable to a tongue severely afflicted by the jaundice of ignorance. Certainly, however, if they are incessantly served with faith, they gradually become relishable and the jaundice of ignorance is eradicated. So let's go through these 10 offenses. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has defined the 10 offenses to Krishna's name as follows. 1, to criticize sadhus devoted to the name. 2, to consider the names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Lord to be distinct from him, and to consider that Shiva and other demigods are lords independent of the Supreme Lord. 3, to disrespect Sri Guru, who enlightens others about the name. 4, to disrespect the scriptures which narrate the name's glories. 5, to consider the name's glories to be nothing more than praise, to have no factual existence. To consider the name himself to be imaginary. 7, to commit sin on the strength of the name. 8, to consider serving the name to be equal to pious activity. 9, to instruct faithless persons about the name. 10, to engage in the service of the name with mundane egotism and possessiveness. These 10 offenses must be completely abandoned. Okay, so now we want to hear from Srila Sridhar Maharaj's explanation of these 10 offenses. I think we can start from here. And any volunteers? What about Marie? Do you want to read from here? I don't know if we'll get through all of it today, but we can get through a good portion at least.
Yeah, I can read, but I wasn't watching where we left off on the page.
You can pick up. We're gonna pick up from here, I think.
Okay.
This is from the Search for Shri Krishna, and it's, which chapter is it? I'm not sure. It's towards the end. The Hare Krishna mantra, the chapter is called. So we can start from here, I think.
It is mentioned in the Padma Purana that there are 10 kinds of offenses we must try to avoid in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There are also 4 kinds of namabhas, or apathetic chanting, which will not give us entrance into the domain of mercy. Mere liberation will be affected by that kind of invocation. These 2 improper kinds of chanting stem from our tendencies for exploitation and renunciation. We must chant the name with the spirit of service and avoid the 10 offenses. Abusing saints. The first offense is to abuse the devotees who are the agents of spreading the greatness and nobility of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. If we abuse and dishonor his agents, then the name is dissatisfied. Only the devotees of Krishna are real saints because they are after eternal life. Those persons who worship demigods for temporary gain are not considered saints. They may be neglected, for they are not devotees. Saint means Vaishnava or devotee. All others, such as the worshippers of the demigods, are not considered saints. We avoid them. A saint is one who has no ambition in his life but to have a connection of loving service with the Supreme Lord. Only those who are agents of eternal truth, absolute good, are to be considered saintly. We should not abuse such saintly persons. Demigod worship. The second offense concerns how we should treat the demigods, including Shiva, Shakti, the sun god, and others. They are not to be considered equal to or greater than Vishnu or Krishna. They are under him, and they are inferior to him. They are given engagements by the Supreme Lord Krishna, and they have to discharge their duties according to his order. They are never equal or superior to Krishna. Guru, good as God. The third offense is to consider the Guru a human being. Although so many human symptoms may be found in him, still, according to our sincerity to meet Godhead, the Lord descends and represents himself in the Guru to satisfy our hunger for the truth. We must see him as the agent of the Lord. It has been advised to us in a general way not to think of the Guru as a mortal being, because if our attempt to attain the Absolute is sincere, then he will also come to us to deliver us. God is omniscient. So through a particular agent who acts as his representative, he comes here to accept us and take us up to the higher plane. We are ordered by the advice of the scriptures to see the Guru as the representative of the Absolute, because none can give us Krishna but he himself. God's presence should be perceived in our Gurudev. We should see that God has come to give himself to us. Generally, we find mortal signs in the body of the spiritual master, but we must transcend that. The Ganges water may be filthy in external appearance, but still the dirty Ganges water can purify us by its touch. To our material senses, the deity seems to be wood, stone, or earth, but that is our polluted vision. Krishna is there, and sometimes he is seen to walk and to talk with devotees of a higher order. We must not think that he is made of material stuff. When we go and stand before the deity, we should not think that we can see him, but that he is seeing us. He is in the subjective plane. I am his object. He is mercifully seeing us to purify us. In this way, our vision must be adjusted. Krishna was killed by a hunter. The atheists will interpret that it was an ordinary incident, but it is not so. Sita was stolen by Ravana. This is all external, all illusory. The real truth is above in the transcendental realm. So we are requested by the expert transcendentalists and by the Shastra to see that our Gurudev is above these mortal signs. Krishna says, Acharyam mam vijanayan navan manyeta karhichit namartya buddhya suyeta sarva deva mayo guruhu. I myself am the Acharya. Do not think that the Guru is an ordinary man. I myself reside within the heart of Gurudev with all my parts and parcels for the benefit of the disciple. I have a question about that.
Yes.
What if you see both? Like, is this an admonition just to make sure that you're seeing the divine representation, or is it an admonition to not see the human bits?
Well, it's a tricky question, actually, but based on everything that I've heard, I would say that we can think of it depends, right? And if you've probably read Sri Guru and His Grace, there Srila Sridhar Maharaj talks about there being different levels of gurus, right? There's the first level guru who we consider to have descended from the upper world fully and is a member of that higher world. Then there's second level, middle level, who has one foot here, one foot there. They're quite advanced by their practice, but there's still some mundane aspect to them. And then the third level is given 2 feet here, but eyes fully fixed above. So they're totally human, but they're trying to overcome that, and their whole goal is fixed on the higher plane, right? And then we also hear that the Vaishnava has their inspired, Srila Sridhar Maharaj uses these terms, inspired side and uninspired side, right? And so for a guru who has more of that human element, then we can try, I would say that we can try to see that inspired side, right? I mean, try to focus on that, but I wouldn't say that we should try to, become, these blind followers who, are denying that their guru has some human element. I wouldn't say that, And yes, there are many statements like this that we find in the scriptures, but we cannot completely deny reality, right? And there was one occasion we heard from Janardhan Maharaj how he took a bus. It was like back in the 80s. He took a bus from Calcutta to Navadvip, and he took there were like several ISKCON devotees on that bus, and they were disciples of one of the, I think, a guru who was amongst that group who gave initiation after Srila Swami Maharaj Prabhupada left. And And so anyhow, they all met on the bus, and Janardha Maharaj got into some discussion with them, and they were expressing their vision of their guru, who's this, some gentleman in ISKCON. That, they saw him as, like a senior practitioner who was helping to guide them along the path. And meanwhile, Janardha Maharaj, he's hearing some of these very high descriptions from Srila Sridhar Maharaj and these verses from the scriptures, these like extreme statements. And I think he might have expressed this other view, right, of Guru. And then when he got back to our mat in Navadvip, he met our Gurudev, and he told our Gurudev about this discussion he'd had. And I think he might have expressed a little, disappointment that they'd had such a kind of basic view of their Guru. And our Gurudev responded to him, but you cannot blame them. He said, they're seeing the reality. They're seeing the reality. And so I appreciated that. And that's something that's helped me to harmonize this issue as well. And especially with, new disciples joining, right, and trying to understand what type of view should they have of their Guru. And I feel that, it's good to be reasonable and to be able to make some distinction and to see and to have faith that there is an inspired side in that Vaishnava, that Krishna is working through them in some mysterious way, but there may also be some human element there, right? So that would be my, conclusion based on everything that I've heard and based on common sense and based on experience also, Yeah, those are my thoughts. How does that strike you?
That feels right. Because I was thinking, there's got to be some method of discernment, because most gurus in this world are not going to be guru 100% of the time. Like the human programming is gonna show, and you need to be able to discern that. And this, I kind of think that a lot of the emphasis in this body of scripture is really aimed at like 15-year-old boys just entering the ashram. And you really need them not to be trying to exercise their powers of discernment, because literally their brains are not there yet. Like,
Right.
And but it's kind of hard to know to what degree that works. But if if you're saying, okay, you need some degree of discernment at some point, so develop that so that you understand when this inspired side is coming through.
Yes, yes.
That helps you not get caught up in like the little details that might come through just because of the human habit of the vessel that Guru is coming through.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, and I would say, like, as much as the instruction of your Guru is in line with the scripture, and with, proven and known saints, Vaishnava saints, then we will put this type of full faith, right? And yeah, and I mean, Sri Guru and His Grace, it's a very important book for everyone to read, right? Because, all kinds of eventualities can take place, right? And then we have to understand with what vision to see that, right? So, yeah. Okay.
Well, shall I continue reading, or should somebody else?
Does Ash feel like reading something?
I can read something, sure. Where are we starting?
We're starting at blaspheming the scriptures.
Blaspheming the scriptures.
Love that word. Isn't that a great word?
The fourth offense is Sastra Nida. Tiny.
Ninda. Ninda, Shastra
Here we
Ninda.
go. Now I can see it.
Yeah.
Sastra Nindya. Blaspheming the Sastra, the scriptures. Of course, this means those scriptures which are not concerned with praising of greatness and nobility of Krishna, not others. We must not abuse those scriptures that instruct us about God and his devotees and teach us the eternal good. Holy name, God in sound. The fifth offense is to interpret the holy name of Krishna with the help of the dictionary and grammar to find diverse meanings in the word of the name. The sound is transcendental. The dictionary, grammar, and any other books of mundane knowledge cannot limit or qualify the holy name. Above the material sound of the name is the transcendental sound within. Sabda Brahma? The name itself is the supreme.
Shabda. Whenever you see a line on the S, it's a sh sound.
Shabda Brahma. The name itself is the supreme person incarnate by his own free will. He is inseparable from his name and fully present in his sound form. The Vaikuntha Shabda, transcendental sound, is different from the mundane sound that can be produced by the tongue and lips. In homeopathic medicine, all the globules are apparently the same, but the potency within is all important. It is something like that. The ordinary sound of the name and the sound vibrated by a pure devotee come from different places. The difference is in the potency within. The holy name transcends from the spiritual world and comes to express itself by dancing on the tongue. The transcendental sound of the holy name is inseparably connected with the person whom it represents. The sixth offense is to consider the glories of the holy name of Krishna to be a concoction. To sin and chant is suicidal. The seventh offense is to sin on the strength of the holy name. The scriptures declare that one name is sufficient to clear all the sins one can commit. So if we go on committing many sins with the idea that we will chant one name to cleanse the sin, it will be an offense to the name and not the name proper. We cannot try to utilize him for our service. He is above all this Maya. The real name will not appear there. We must not think, I can do anything and everything, and the name will purify me. It is written in the scriptures that if you go on with this spirit, it will be suicidal. Hare Krishna, the supreme purification. The eighth offense is to think that chanting the holy name is another pious activity like penance, pilgrimage, giving in charity, service to the country, and so on. If we think lightly of the holy name in this way, then we commit an offense because the holy name is absolute and these other processes have only a partial relative position. Other processes are partial. They award some success in this mundane world, but the name can give the Lord himself. So no other process of purification can hold the same position as chanting the holy name of Krishna. It is supreme and none can come close to it. Forbidden for the faithless. The ninth offense is to give the name to those who do not deserve it, who have no faith in chanting the name. If you press them to chant the holy name, a bad reaction will come to you. Also, without getting any inspiration, we should not make disciples and give Harinam initiation. We will commit an offense against the name if we make a business or trade with name giving. If we give the name to anyone and everyone out of greed for becoming a guru, then it will be an offense. Without sanction from above, if one runs to become a guru to get name and fame with some mundane purpose, then it is a great offense. Back to Godhead. The 10th offense is to be too much addicted to a particular thing, or to have too much affinity towards the body and bodily wealth. When a boat is anchored, rowing will simply move the boat around the anchor. The anchor must be taken up, and then the boat can move forward. So we must not anchor ourselves down with a particular thing. We must be open. The name will create some transformation within the mental system, and we must be open and unprejudiced enough to go where the name will send us. If we carefully try to avoid that transformation and stick to our present life, that is an offense against the name, to invite him and then ignore him. We must not accept the name as a foreign thing. He is our friend. We should be quite at home with him. We're going to obtain a very soothing and friendly connection by the realization of the holy name of Krishna, which is all good, all beautiful, and all charming. By chanting the holy name, we will attain our most desirable end of life and go back to God, back to home, and not to any foreign country. We must not accept a name as a foreign thing. He is our friend. No, said that already. We must take the name in a friendly, affectionate way. The name is the only object of our love. He is our friend and not any anti-party. So the name will take us home, not to any foreign land. That is our sweet home, and he is our sweet guardian. With this spirit, we shall go on chanting the holy name of Krishna. These are the 10 offenses to be avoided in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
All right, thank you. So I think we can stop there. And then this Namabhas, this is referring to a shadow of the name. And as Srila Maharaj mentioned in the beginning, right? Namaparad, which means offense to the name, that comes out, that springs from the spirit of exploitation, right? Selfishness. And then this Namabhas comes from the other obstacle, tendency for renunciation, right? So both, of course, are to be avoided, but Namabhas can also be a positive thing in the sense that we're told Namabhas can affect liberation. There's some touch of the name there, and one can not attain entrance into the positive service world, but one can attain liberation from the mundane, which does put one in a good position, right? At least. So it can be considered in different ways. So we're just about out of time. This is so beautiful, isn't it? The name is our friend, right? And we want to remember the name is a person. The name is non-different. It is not like in this world where there's this incongruence, right? Amongst everything, right? Who we are, what we look like, what our heart looks like, right? How people may speak of us, everything's incongruent in this world. But in the divine plane, things are of an absolute nature. So if someone's name is mentioned, they are there. Krishna is fully present in his name. He is fully present in his qualities, right? He is fully present in his Leela. When we're remembering his divine pastimes, he is fully present there. And so the name is Krishna himself. Krishna is our best friend. That name is all good, all beautiful, all charming. This is going to take us home, not to any foreign country. We must take the name in a friendly, affectionate way. How beautiful, how very beautiful. Very beautiful. This is a nice meditation, right? For next time we go and pick up our japa. We must take the name in a friendly, affectionate way. The name is the only object of our love. The name will take us home, our sweet home. And he is our sweet guardian. Very beautiful. Okay, well, any last comments from anyone? Should we conclude there? And Rupa Nuga Prabhu to join us in the last moments. Welcome, joining middle of the night or early morning in Australia. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.